Hello, you guys, and welcome to session 3 of goal setting A to Z in the film industry. I am so excited and so happy for you guys that you have made it this far. We have one session left, as well as the post-course post-course webinar that I'm really looking forward because that is live and you guys will be able to ask me your questions face to face. So, without further ado, let's get into this session, which is all about research. There's a lot of research in planning and preparing to attain your goals. So, what are those? Writing jobs, writing assignments, optioning and selling, getting an agent and a manager. Those are the 4 goals that we are focusing on in this course. And so, with writing jobs and writing assignments, like I've talked about before, they are going to be very similar. So, writing jobs and writing assignments, where are you going to find them? There are free places and there are those that you have to pay for. But thankfully, there are a lot of them. Now, just a few are mentioned here. There are plenty more. But I don't want you guys to just take this list and run with it. I want you guys to research some more companies because there are plenty of places to find writing jobs and writing assignments. So, if we look under the free section, you see Craigslist. A lot of people balk at Craigslist, but still to this day, I find legitimate jobs that pay very well on Craigslist. Now, you may ask, why would a producer, why would an author, why would another writer post on Craigslist? Well, out of all the sites where you can post anything, Craigslist is usually the cheapest. So that's a reason. Craigslist is accessible to everybody. So you get a bigger pool of people, from people who are just starting out to people who have been doing this for a long time. And you can really find a diamond in the rough on Craigslist. So don't discount Craigslist. When we are thinking about Craigslist, though, we do have to be wary of certain things. So you want to look in states that make a lot of films or where there's a big filmmaking community. So Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, New York, LA, actually anywhere in California, but those 5 places that I just named are places where you want to focus your search. Toronto is also a good place. But the thing that you have to keep in mind is if you're looking in Toronto or any other English speaking country, they do spell words differently than we do. So keep that in mind. So when you do your grammar checks and stuff like that, make sure you're spelling words correctly for the country or the audience that the script is written for. Facebook groups. Facebook has thousands of screenwriting groups, filmmaking groups, author groups, producer groups. And to get tapped into any of these groups is going to help you immensely because people are going to go to these places first when they need something written, if they're on Facebook. I have found plenty of jobs on Facebook groups, specifically when it comes to authors who were looking for somebody to adapt their book or even a short story they wrote into a feature film or a teleplay. So again, you're probably already on Facebook. This is a great place to look. And there are so many other places that you guys can go, but these are 2 of the biggest and best places that are free that you're probably already using to find listings for jobs and screenwriting assignments. Now the paid ones. Mandy.com is a great service. They list not only screenwriting jobs, but writing within the film industry. And Mandy, I think, is $15 a month. But what you would want to do with Mandy is, because they don't post writing jobs a lot, when they do, they're really good writing jobs. But just sign up for the service, have them email you jobs, and when you run across something that is a writing job that you're interested in applying for, then subscribe to the service, apply for that job. And then if you don't see anything else, you can cancel your subscription and just do that back and forth if you don't want to continue to pay for that monthly when you're not applying for anything. Then this company, Screenwriting Staffing, is exclusively posting leads from producers, filmmakers, other writers, daily, just about every day. They send out an email about their projects. So they do have a free and a paid version. The way it works with their free version, I believe once a week or twice a week, they send out an email for jobs that have not been filled yet, that they first sent to their paid subscribers. And if those jobs don't get filled within a certain amount of time, they send it out to everybody. And then you get the information to submit to those jobs. So Screenwriting Staffing is really great. It is a great place to start because, like I said, they have a free and a paid one. But if you want to get those leads as soon as they come out, you should subscribe. And I don't remember exactly how much Screenwriting Staffing is. I think it's around $15. It's no more than $20 because none of these services charge more than $20. So if you come across a service that is charging 30, 40, 50 jobs, they either are not reputable or they're usually offering other services under that subscription to a screenwriter. But most of the services are $20 and lower, with some being on the lowest end of $8 or $10 a month. So submissions, these are for people who are doing writing assignments, not looking for writing jobs. And remember, writing assignments are like a step above regular writing jobs. These are projects that you would get from a producer or filmmaker or director, someone within the industry. So submissions are just for people whose goal is writing assignments. And this is where you're going to submit to production companies. We talked about this in our last session as it related to query letters and optioning and selling. But for writing assignments, you can follow this process as well. You're just going to put together a query letter and submit it to a production company. But here you are pitching yourself as a screenwriter. So you're asking them if there is anything that they have that they need a writer to polish, or if they're looking for new projects. You're really pitching yourself, not any of your work when you submit to these production companies. Also, again, you want to make sure you do your research and submit to production companies that are looking for content that you write. And these are not big production companies. These are smaller, usually local production companies where they make other content there, maybe YouTube content, but you never know. There might be someone in there. I recently, someone joined one of my writers groups, and they worked for a production company for years. But everyone else in that company, they made wedding videos, was happy to continue to make wedding videos for the rest of their life. But this particular person was like, I really want to get into narrative, but I really don't know what to do. So in this case, if you had sent something to this production company and it got in front of this particular person, they were like, oh, wow. I didn't know how to, go about getting into narrative. This is the answer to the thing that I've been looking for. But like I said, when you do this, you're only submitting to smaller local production companies, and you're just pitching yourself as a writer, to either write something for them or to polish something that they have. And you'll be surprised that every now and then you will hear back from someone. Also, when you send your mail, email generally is how you're going to contact them. You're sending it in the general email section, so it may take some time for them to get it, read it, and get back to you. But also, this is a soft sell. We're not being pushy or anything like that. If you can address it to a specific person, you want to address it to someone who's on the lower level, not a producer or a filmmaker who owns the company, but someone who maybe just started working there, or who is a junior producer or junior filmmaker within that company. So, whoops. Sorry about that. On to optioning and selling and agents and managers. All right. If you're ready to option and sell, the first thing I want you guys to do, I don't think I talked about this in any of the previous sessions. And this also goes for if you want writing jobs and writing assignments, because you are putting your samples out there. But definitely 100% if you're optioning anything, if you're selling anything, if you're looking for an agent or manager, you want to get your work registered with the WGA West Coast, which is $20 if you're not a part of the WGA, I believe. I don't know what the fee is if you are with the WGA, but if you're not, it's only $20. And then also with the Copyright Office. Off the top of my head, I can't remember how much that is. But definitely, if you don't have enough to register with the Copyright Office, register with the WGA West, not East. Always register with the WGA West. And so that will give you the bare minimum of protection that you need. And the proof when you're selling your project that you are the person who indeed wrote it. So next, production companies. I know I talked about last session how to go about the process of finding a production company and then submitting your work based on their criteria. But I wanted to highlight this. This is from IMDb. And if you do not have IMDb Pro, it is quite all right. IMDb Pro just makes it a little bit easier because you can filter through things. But this is the production list for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So if you go to that page and then scroll down and click on crew. So after the actors, it's going to have the top actors. It's going to have who is directed by, who is written by, and then you want to click on all cast. All crew, which is going to be under all cast. Once you click on that, you're going to scroll down to the very bottom, and it's going to give you your producers. So we see that the producers of Everything Everywhere All at Once are Allison, Sarah, Tim, Dan, Mike, Todd, Teresa, Teresa, John, Josh, Anthony, Joe, Daniel, Jonathan, and Michelle. And then it tells you if they were a co-producer, executive producer, if they're a member of the PGA, which is the Producers Guild. It gives you all this information about them. So you can click on them, find out what else they have produced, and if you see a pattern that they are producing all action films, all tearjerkers, all horrors, or mostly any of those things, and you have a project like that, then you know, okay, this might be somebody that I can contact. Then do some more research, find out what company they work for, if they're on social media, try to gather as much detail as you can so you can figure out the proper way to reach out to these people. Now, I don't want you guys to find out these people's social media and then DM them. That is not the way to do it. If they work for a company, it's best to go through the company. But, you would not, contact the top person on this list. And if they have a website, they work for a company, you may not even necessarily want to reach out to them. Maybe you want to reach out to a junior assistant in their company, and start kind of at the bottom with someone who is really hungry to make a project versus somebody who's going to be really busy because they have so many projects going on. Your top tier producers are always working on something. The junior people are probably new at the company. They're looking for projects. They're looking for clientele. They're looking for scripts. So those are the people that you want to introduce yourself to in a professional way always. Although we are gathering information about people, we're not gathering information to be stalkers. We are gathering information to see ways that we can connect with people. A producer, a filmmaker, a director that you can connect with, even if they don't work with you on a certain project, they're going to remember you and maybe buy your next thing. Or maybe contact you to write their next thing. So one of the things that we often forget about as screenwriters is that filmmaking really is a industry built off of relationships. This is why you see directors work with the same actors or producers work with the same directors. It's because I built a relationship with you. I enjoy working with you. I know that even though it's going to be work, it's going to be fun. I know that we can make money off of this, all these different reasons, but it's really built on relationships. That's why networking is so important. And we're going to talk about that more in our next session. But in doing your research about people, it's always about finding a way to connect with them on a human level versus trying to use that to manipulate a situation. It's always about connection, because people in this industry are very used to people trying to play and get over. that they will spot you from a mile away and blackball you if you show up in a manipulative type of way. You want to really build connections and relationships with people. Alrighty, guys. So, agents and managers, where to find them? Again, IMDb is going to be very helpful in your research process. Writers groups, Twitters. Yeah. Okay, I need to cut this part out. Okay, so guys, agents and managers. IMDb is going to be very helpful in your search. Not because it's going to directly link you to an agent or a manager, but if there is a writer who has written stuff that you like, it is a way to see who they're represented by. At least what company. It says it sometimes. So then you can use that to go and research that company a little bit more. But I can guarantee you, if there's a writer on IMDb who has written several things, they have either an agent or a manager. And then you can, do your research and figure out who that is. Writers groups are really good for finding agents and managers because you can talk to other writers, see what they think about different agencies, different agents and different managers. Twitter, writing Twitter is a place everybody should be. I know a lot of people may not be the happiest with the Twitter situation right now, but it is a great place to follow agents and managers, get to know a little about who they are as people. It is a great way to learn from them. It is a great way to figure out if they are accepting new clients, and find out different ways to submit to them. So there's one particular, I'm not going to say his name, but there's one particular manager that I follow on Twitter. And, randomly one day he said at the end of a thread, if there is anyone who is looking for a manager, if you DM me between this time and this time, your query, your pitch, and it can't be that long because it's on Twitter, I'll review it and potentially, take one of you on. I have seen agents and managers have people create a video and send it to them. The world really is opening up, or is open, in the way that we submit things. So it's not always a query that's being emailed to the company. Some agents and managers through social media let you pitch to them directly, right there on the app. And that particular agent ended up signing 2 people that had DM'd him their query on Twitter. 2 years consecutively. So once this year and then once last year. So there's so many ways to get in touch with reputable agents now that a lot of roadblocks have been taken away. So when you get an agent and a manager, what exactly do you need to make sure you have? We talked about this last time. But you do yourself no service if you have a great script but no log line. And some log line is better than no log line. I think sometimes we feel like things need to be perfect. And if they can be perfect, great. But if you have a log line and it's just not perfect, but you're under a deadline for whatever reason. So say if you wanted to submit something to that manager who was like, hey, pitch me. Just create a log line. It doesn't need to be perfect. There are really good agents and managers can see past the okay log line, and are a lot of times willing to contact you just on the effort, and know that they're gonna search you too. So make sure you're not putting anything crazy out there on social media. But if you find you're having really a lot of trouble coming up with log lines and your query letters, get a book, take a course with that, because log lines are extremely important to selling your project. Not only the end sale to, a production company or something like that, but to sell you and your script to an agent or a manager. They really do play a big role in that. So take the time to really craft those. Query letters, of course, synopsis. Synopsises should not be 10 pages. Great if you can keep them to 1 page, but I definitely wouldn't do anything that's more than 2 pages max. But if you can get a really good synopsis to 1 page, and it's going to be similar to your query letter. It's not going to be your script from beginning to end, but it's going to be a highlight of your script. What's the best parts of it that include your story. And then, of course, your script. Another thing that, of course, you're going to need in order to get an agent or a manager. Preferably, guys, 3 to 5 really good scripts, because anyone can write a perfect script, because it may have taken you 5 years to write that one perfect script, but not everybody can write a great script, even a good script, repeatedly. So 3 to 5 scripts are what agents and managers want to see. They want to know that, you can continue to do this. And the more you train yourself at getting a bit faster at writing these scripts, the better it will be. It'll help you get more writing assignments and things like that from your agents and managers. All right, guys, that was a lot. With that said, what's next? Session 4 is when our course projects are due. We haven't really gone over a lot about the course projects. So I want you guys to listen very closely. Take a deep breath and know that whatever you submit is going to be great. Whether it's your best work or not, we would all hope to be able to always present our best work, but that doesn't always happen. What's important is that you meet the deadline. So if you're a bit anxious, you feel like you're not going to meet it, then I want you to take a deep breath. Figure out why you're not going to meet it. Is it because whatever is harder than you thought? Is it because really honestly you don't have the time, other things, life happened, that's okay. Then I want you to right now switch what your course project is. If you were doing a pitch, do a query letter. If you were doing a script, do a sample. Because what is important is we learn to meet deadlines. Deadlines are a huge part of this job, and if you get used to not meeting deadlines, then it's going to be a hard thing to break. So the goal is to finish a course project, even if it's not the one that you started with. And just a quick reminder, for those who are submitting scripts, we're going to submit no more than 30 pages. It has to be a minimum of 15, but no more than 30. Samples should be exactly 15 pages. And just a note, if you have a sample, and somebody's dialogue is at the end of 15 and it continues to 16, then get rid of their last dialogue. Okay? So if you have anything that's like spilling over, get rid of it so we end on page 15. Query letter, always and forever, is 1 page. Whether this is a query letter for a project or a query letter to an agent or manager, it doesn't matter. It should always be 1 page. Pitch decks, 15 pages max. I would love it if you could get it down to 10. Your feedback is going to be so much better. Unless that 15 pages is just, wow, a piece of art. Also, an email will be sent to you guys where to send your course projects. And I want you to make sure you give yourself enough time to review your course project. Make sure you're formatting your grammar. Make sure you're being entertaining, especially if you're doing a query or a pitch. Make sure you reflect the mood and the tone of your project in them. And I'm just going to go ahead and congratulate you guys now for completing your course project. Because I know you guys are going to do it. So in session 4, you guys, we are going to not only submit the course project, we're going to talk about networking and building community, beginning your next journey, and we'll market some more. So you guys probably have a lot of work to do. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this session. As always, if you are not already following us on social media, please do. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and our newsletter. You can find that on our website. Make sure you sign up for that. We have new courses and things all the time, so just make sure you guys get plugged in so you know about everything going on. And once we schedule our live post course session, you guys will be notified about that. So you can just ask me any questions live. So it was great talking to you guys today, and I will see you in the next session.